Albert's World, where intelligence meets the inexperienced. I'm your host, Albert, with my great friend, Alex.
Hi.
I hope you enjoyed the last episode with French Bulldogs. Today we're going to be talking about Creme,
Yeah.
a food magazine on campus. Why don't you introduce yourself, Alex?
Yeah. So obviously I'm Bert's friend. Do you want to be called Albert or Bert? I just
It
realized
doesn't
I call
matter.
you Albert. Yeah, I run a food magazine here on campus called Creme de Cornell, but we recently call it Creme just because the de Cornell is like kind of long and things like that. We actually just revamped our whole like how we look like to the public. So
Hmm.
my freshman year we had a whisk as our thing, like as our logo. And this year it's a bowl. And the reason why we're like, oh, bowls are a way for us to like bring a community together. Like everything's mixed up together. And I was
Ah.
like, this is the most genius thing I ever heard in my life. Like we like didn't hire like someone, but we like kind of did. His name is Mark. Mark was an amazing person because I think he works in art or something like that, but he works for Medium, which is another magazine on campus, and he thinks about things for art. Like they have to have intention for it. And so we wanted to have a new logo because we felt our old one was like really weird. Like it made sense, like a whisk and things like that, because we are a food magazine, but specifically it had no intention. So we had like hour-long meetings about what our new logo should be.
Hour long.
Like we had multiple meetings for this. It was like unbelievable. Like
Okay.
I was like, what is going on? And we wanted to change our like sticker place too. And
Hmm.
they are like, oh, we only take like circle stickers. And we're like, oh, perfect. Like let's do that. And Mark like decided to use a bowl because like how you plate oh god how you plate things, you could have like different foods inside of a bowl. It brings people together. Like it's like a like kind of like not like a mixing pot or a melting bowl or things like that,
Hmm.
melting pot and things like that, but it's just like it's just very familiar, like has a sense of community to it. And that's what we felt like Creme was, that it brings people together with food. And like no matter what's your background, like you're there because you have food. And we're like, this is genius. And so we ate it up, and we're like, yeah, let's make it our logo. So it's brand new.
So then, how you said you started in freshman year?
Yeah.
Were you president freshman year, or like how did you get from what you were freshman year to
Yeah,
president?
so Creme has actually been here for 13 years, right?
Hmm.
Freshman year I was a writer. I Before even going to Cornell, when I was like searching up what Cornell has to offer, like clubs and things like that, like my junior or senior year, I found out that Cornell had like a food magazine. And this is like the one thing I wanted to join here at Cornell. It was like unbelievable. I was like dead set for it. I was like, I want to join Creme, blah, blah, blah. Like it has all the things that I want. And so I started as a writer, and my first piece for the theme was finger foods, was apple eclairs. And this is why I thought of it. We're in the Finger Lake regions, which is really famous for apples, right?
Hmm.
And eclairs look like fingers, but it's also a finger food. So my genius is like, yes, I am gonna make apple eclairs. So inside of it was like an semi like apple pie cream. So it had like
Hmm.
really small diced up apples. It was like millimeter by millimeter, pretty much like cubed apples. Like I cut these things really small.
How long
Um,
did it take you?
it took me to test, like it was my own recipe. Like I like made everything on the fly, and then
Oh.
I had like caramel top. Like eclairs usually have chocolate, so I
Hmm.
did a caramel top on top. Um, I think the recipe came to me like from usually from dreams.
So ridiculous. We're talking about that later.
So like it was a dream of mine, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like let's make this thing a thing. And I never made like I forgot specifically what the it's like what the pastry is called for eclairs right now. It's like
Hmm.
pastry de something. But my roommate was food science, so she kind of helped me make the pastry because she has done it before. And I had background in the food industry as a prep chef and as a line cook, so like I knew how to like chop and things like that. So I like it took me at least like 3 hours to make it. Like the time that took me like to think about how the recipe is gonna go, probably like 10 minutes tops, because like I knew what I needed it to taste like. Like I knew I'm like oh, I wanted to make it taste like apple pie, right? So here's like the basics for apple pies, like brown sugar, obviously, cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, things like that. And then I knew that inside the cream specifically for eclairs, they use like it's like more of like a curd, like a
Mm-hmm.
custard inside. And so what I did for that is like, oh, I need like heavy cream. I need like vanilla bean. I need like this, and this. And so I was like, okay, let's combine those two. I need to figure out like the ratio between like water and things like that. And like, boom, it was amazing. And yeah.
So a lot of your knowledge came from your background as a line cook and pastry chef.
Yeah, kind of. I think my background in cooking is like mostly from my childhood and my mom and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the thing between Western cooking and Eastern cooking is that like Eastern cooking, no recipe. Like they just put random things and it's dependent on what it tastes like, right?
Uh-huh.
And like, can you replicate that? So growing up, I never really had recipes of my mom's. She would tell me like, I just know like, for example, like bulgogi, which is like
Hmm.
a thing that she tenderizes the meat with is Coke. So I know like I just need Coke in the recipe. I just know I
Like
need
soda?
like soda.
Huh.
Good to know. So now you
Yeah.
know. Like I just need Coke. I need like soy sauce. I need sesame oil. Like I just know specific things like garlic. I wouldn't use ginger that much because of X. Like it just has a more like it brings out like different tastes, and I don't want that.
Uh-huh.
So that's why. But growing up, I was always helping my mom in the kitchen, and then like freshman year, sophomore year of high school, I became vegetarian, and my mom was like, "No, I'm not cooking for you only. Like, go cook your own stuff." So I like got really into cooking from that.
Yeah.
My mom was really into like testing recipes and things like
Mm.
that, so she would always like she would make me like vegetarian burgers and things like that, and she would like change up the toppings inside, or she would try to figure out ways to make like some vegan foods that are vegetarian foods that I usually wouldn't get, like for example bulgogi was one, or honey butter garlic chicken was really popular like my senior junior.
Honey butter.
Garlic chicken,
Okay.
it's really good. But my mom, like obviously we call Korean fried chicken KFC too, so for preference,
Word.
I'm gonna call it KFC. So KFC is really popular and they have honey butter garlic like flavor. And so my mom wanted to do the same way, but like for me, like so she made seitan, which is like a vegan meat made out of
Mm-hmm.
like high glutinous flour. And so she did that. She did it with tofu. She tried it with like different things. So then I could also have it, but she wanted to like try to go more vegetarian than meat eating because of like just how much like fat and cholesterol there is. And so my mom is trying different ways to like lower that, or like have certain more like have certain nutrients be elevated. And so
Mm.
that's like how I got into cooking. And then my senior year of high school, I had the opportunity to work for a restaurant. So, my s- my
And this
ju-
is in Wisconsin.
yeah, in Wisconsin. So, my junior year, I had my own food blog at my school, and the reason
Flex.
flex,
Mm-hmm.
like the reason why was because I got cut from the volleyball team my junior year, and I broke both like I twisted both my ankles right before the tryouts, and I was like it was like I was the only setter, blah blah blah, but I still tried out because like I was like, you know what, I might as well go for it just in case. And we had a whole new coaching staff, blah blah blah. It was just stupid. And actually, it set up new doors for me. And one of the new doors was like running a food blog on my school's newsletter. And I went up to the teacher and I'm like, "Hi, like I love cooking. Can I make a food blog?" So I would shoot my own photos. I would write my own recipes, things like that. And I got really into it. And then my senior year, I was like, I want to make more money because I worked at Kumon my sophomore, junior,
The
and senior.
tutoring place?
Yeah, the tutoring place because I did Kumon as a child. And I was like, I don't want to only work at Kumon because I feel like as much as I like working with kids, like this is like I only work like 2 times a week because it's
Mm-hmm.
only open Tuesday, Thursdays. I don't know. I don't remember. So I was like, let's work at a restaurant. Like a dishwasher position's open. I interviewed and I was like, oh, like by the way, I have cooking background. I would love to learn more about cooking. She's like, never mind about the dishwasher. Like she was about to give me like a waitressing job,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I have cooking background, blah blah blah, and she's like, never mind about those two. Why don't you become a prep chef? So on after school on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I would go in and like prep everything for them. Like I would make background. It's a Nepalese restaurant, so I know how to make kind of like fusion American Nepalese food. Like
Hmm.
the owner was Nepalese, and so uh, I like know how to make like certain like dishes and things like that. And I became like obsessed. Like I would always practice my knife skills, things like that. And so that's how I got into cooking, and I just like fell in love. But I could never see myself do a career about it. It's like more of a hobby. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you can't have your hobby become a career because then it just ruins it for you, kind of
I
moment.
feel that. I really enjoy cooking. And I almost like I wanted to go that route for a
Mm-hmm.
time, but I tried out a commercial kitchen
Ooh,
and I didn't really enjoy it that much. So I decided food science was more my vibe than I know, weird
yeah,
chemistry instead of actually cooking, but
I know.
it is what it is. Uh, so you did your own blog,
Yeah,
and I guess that influenced the whole hype about Cornell's Creme,
yeah, pretty
right?
much. Yeah.
And then you were a writer for them.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you like
Continue.
continue like from writer
Okay.
to become president?
So, okay, so freshman year, I was writing, blah, blah, blah. Freshman spring, they were doing elections for vice treasurer. And so
Hmm.
I applied for that, got it. And then I was writing still at that time. And then sophomore, I was now treasurer because that's how the position works. Vice treasurer become treasurer.
Hmm.
And then they were opening up elections for vice president because it was a brand new position, and the president at the time has been there for a while, and she didn't want to do it her senior year. So I also applied to be vice president. So sophomore year, I was both vice president and treasurer, and then now here I am, president of Creme, like editor in chief.
So like from vice president then becomes president.
President, yeah,
Okay,
kind of like the same thing with vice treasurer. And
gotcha.
so I don't write as much as anymore. I only
Hmm.
write for, so we used to only do one semester magazine, my freshman fall, and then freshman spring, we do a mid semester magazine, and we've been doing that trend from now on. So I only write for a mid semester, and then I write my editor's letter, but that's all I write, which makes me really sad because I do miss testing recipes, but I just remember how much like I have to cook it and then like other things. But and like I figure out the theme with my group, and it's like amazing. Like I just love it a lot.
So what would you say is the process to becoming a member of Creme?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we actually just finished obviously we probably when this podcast comes out, we did finish
Yeah.
application process, but usually applications come out in the beginning of the semester. There's usually a theme with it. So our different like staffing you could be is like writer, editor, photographer, designers, and then we have a culinary team. The culinary team is like something kind of brand new. We're trying to figure it out since it was created my freshman year and then COVID happened. So we really
Mm.
don't know how to do with the culinary team. But essentially, they write recipes for the magazine. And so, for example, like if I applied my freshman year, I'll be probably part of the culinary team and not as a writer. So they work on our website, TikTok, and Instagram. Yeah, we have a TikTok. Everyone go check it out. It's Creme de Cornell plug. And it's really nice. We're trying to figure that out aspect out just because it's still like kind of in the ebbs and flows, but everything else is pretty standard. For like photography, we would like to see a portfolio, and same with design. So if you have InDesign background, it's really nice. You get to work on our spreads and things like that. Writing, you just have to go with the theme, and then editing, it's like we would like to see some background of your editing skills. So if you worked for like a high school yearbook or magazine, or like if you've done editing in other places, like we love to see like where you've done editing. But that's like mostly it. It's like a really fun process. Oh, we always highly recommend, if you don't know what to do, go as a writer, because we always are short with writing and
Hmm.
we always freak out about that. But writing is one of my favorite aspects because you get to see like the person's experience with food. I always love reading it because it shows how much passion they have for food, but like they bring in a different intersection. I think I'm trying to think. One of my favorite pieces was like I think we did for Pop. Our previous editor in chief, Abby, did a piece on um, making cocktails with different songs like she listened to. And
Ah,
so like one of them was like Toxic by Britney Spears, and she made a cocktail for that. It was really
was it
fun.
green?
I I think so.
I
I
hope.
I really want to make these cocktails because now I'm of age, and so
Right.
and so I feel like it'll be fun listening to the music while also drinking the cocktail.
Ooh.
But I highly recommend that. That was like our spring 21 magazine called Pop. Last semester was Elements. Our, you know, Maria.
Yes.
Maria's our events chair, and she wrote about Uncle Iroh's tea and how it blended in with food and how it brought them wisdom within like the Avatar scene. And I really enjoyed that one because as an Avatar fan, it's just nice to see like some recognition like for Avatar, but also like where Elements actually came from was like from my Avatar sticker on my computer.
No
So
way.
it was like we were sitting around and we're like, okay, let's think of ideas. And someone's like, I like your sticker. And I was like, oh, it's the elements. And we're like, elements, yes. And
All
we're like,
right. So
okay.
what's the ideation process behind this?
Like, how do I figure out what theme it is?
Yeah.
Whatever, like, as an e-board, we have like about 12, depends, 12 to 17 people, depending on the semester,
Hmm.
because we might have vice treasurers or like vice people and things like that. Essentially, what we do is we sit around a circle and we're like,
Kumbaya.
kumbaya, we're holding hands and we like hum. I'm just joking. Essentially, what we do is I'm like, hi, ideas. Anybody? I have no ideas. And
Hmm.
people just shout out ideas. And then we're like, what can go in the idea? Have we done it in the past? Another idea is like, is it redundant for something? Because like I think we're about to do like a wellness one, but we did going green a couple years ago, and that's like
Mm.
recycling, like things like that. Because we did it, our launch was on Earth Day, and so that's why we did that. Um, so that's like partially how most of our themes come, or like people are like, oh, I've always wanted to do that. For example, like this semester's theme is celebration. So people, I think last semester,
I
what,
feel like that's pretty valid.
yeah,
I like
like
that.
celebration. Like I think one of our staff members wanted to do something about pride, especially like pride cookies,
Mm.
which I thought was really cute. But I was like, pride is like very niche. Like if you think of pride, like what can you bring in food other than like uh, the LGBTQ plus community, or like I'm prideful for my food, or like things like that. And so we wanted to be more in a positive light, and we're like, oh, celebration. Like you could think about anything, like from traditions to how you celebrate your birthday, which is a tradition, or from like different holidays out there, or other things. And then that's our semester mag, and our mid semester is like I don't know how to call it. We're thinking of Cornell yearbook, which we're going, or oh, it's called Dine with Me. And Dine with Me is essentially us going to different dining halls around campus and writing about it. And like, it's essentially like,
Ooh. I need that. I need that.
it's like finding like, what is your favorite dining hall? Not even
Yeah.
dining hall, or like just a place to eat on campus that take anything, like either BRBs or just cash or anything like that.
Hmm.
Because we were like thinking about like, oh, it'd be really fun to talk about our like fondest memories for these dining halls that we have.
Hmm.
And so I think that's partially why we chose that one. And I'm excited for that one. I like really like that one.
I'm pretty excited about it.
But yeah, highly recommend coming. It's coming out, I think, March 25th. So
Hmm.
check it out, people. I don't know when this podcast is coming out, but
Uh, there. Well, we'll find out.
we'll find out. Probably it's going to be out and like the magazine's going to be out, but check it out, you guys.
Yeah. So you're president now.
Yeah.
What are your
my,
plans?
my hopes and aspirations for Creme. I'm low key. I'm on this like idea that I'm gonna quit all my clubs
Oh,
my senior year.
cut, cut,
I'm just joking.
cut.
I think my senior year, I think I'm gonna be like elderly person that was on Creme,
Hmm.
but here's the mentor. I
Uh,
definitely gonna write still. No matter what, I think I'm gonna write my senior year. I just don't think I'm gonna be on e-board just because like obviously I'm gonna do other things, finding a job,
right.
MCATs, things like that. So I feel like there's not a lot of time, and I kind of want to enjoy my senior year with like friends, other than being in clubs.
Right.
So, but I know for sure that I cannot let Creme go. I
Hmm.
know I'm not gonna, maybe I'll do photography. I don't know, design. I always want to learn InDesign and things like that. But specifically, I definitely think I'm gonna write for Creme as like either a staff member or someone just like writing,
Okay.
just casually.
So let's get a bit more personal and talk about you as a student on
Oh my
campus.
gosh. Okay.